Hi, my name is Al Getler, and I'm the host of a new show, Lead or Be Led, where we're going to talk about leadership. Leadership from the standpoint of the leader, leadership from the standpoint of the follower, as well as followers that are looking to become leaders, and people who are looking to break out and find ways to live their life in a leadership style. We're very excited about the lineup of guests we have, and the first guest I am really excited to have. He is someone I had followed for many years and read his books, and he has a brand new book out that I think you're going to be excited about as well. Very, very different, very high energy, very well done. Why don't you watch this video and we'll come back with my guest, Michael Port.
Hi, Michael Port here. I've written a number of big books, apparently. Book Yourself Solid was my first book. It came out in 2006. I did a second edition in 2010. And it's about 90,000 words, which is fine for some people, but 84% of people are visual thinkers and learners. And that means if that's you, you can recall only a little bit of what you've read, but you can recall almost all of what you've seen. So for you, I now have Book Yourself Solid illustrated. And no matter which edition you choose, you're going to get booked solid if you do the work. You want as many clients, you need as many clients as your heart desires. And that's what Book Yourself Solid promises. So let's take a look inside the books. This is what the first two editions look like. Lots of text, looks like every other book. Again, which is fine. Everything that you need to know to get booked solid is inside those editions. But maybe you want to see what you need to know. And that's Book Yourself Solid Illustrated. Beautiful illustrations, fun illustrations that represent everything you need to know. So 2/3 of the text, gone, replaced with over 500 images. Even the exercises are illustrated, so they're easier to do. So let's take a look inside the system. Module 1. First, you're going to develop a red velvet rope policy. So you choose ideal clients. You work only with people that energize and inspire you. Then I'm going to teach you why people buy what you're selling, so you create demand for your services. And then you'll develop a personal brand identity so you decide how you're known in the world. And you'll be able to talk about what you do without sounding confusing or bland or like everybody else. And then in Module 2, I'm going to help you increase credibility so that you're seen as a likable authority in your field. We'll design a sales cycle that turns simple conversations into relationships of trust with potential clients. And then I'll show you exactly what to do to keep in touch with those potential clients so they become current clients. And I'll also show you how to create information products that build your credibility and increase the speed of your sales cycle. Now in Module 3, you're going to create perfect pricing strategies. You're going to use any one of the 12 models that I introduce in that chapter. And then you'll learn how to create a simple sales conversation so you book the business. And in Module 4, you're going to learn networking, direct outreach, referral strategies, speaking strategies, writing strategies, and of course, web strategies. And to me, it's the fastest, easiest, and most reliable system for getting more clients than you can handle, especially if you hate marketing and selling. And when you're booked solid, when you earn higher fees, when you get more clients, when you get your message out in the world in a big way, well then you'll be doing the Book Yourself Solid happy dance. So pick up a copy of Book Yourself Solid and keep thinking big about who you are and what you offer the world.
Now, Michael, welcome to the show. Absolutely thrilled to have you. Absolutely thrilled to have you on this first broadcast of ours. Your new book is amazing. Before we get to that, though, tell me a little bit about Michael. You have a background that's more than just being a book author, more than just being an independent consultant. What's your journey?
Sure. Well, I think we all do, right? We are all more than just what we do. Hopefully what we do is very connected to what we stand for, and that we are deeply inspired by the work we do. But there's so much more to each person than just our work. And I think that we want to develop our business, the work we do, whether it's inside someone else's organization or if we're developing our own organization, in such a way that it fits the lifestyle that we want to live. Look, I've done a lot of different things over the years. And the older I get, the less hair I have. At this point, I don't think there's any more to lose. But the more I recognized how short our time here is. And so there's lots of different things I'd love to do. And one of them is to spend time with my family and do it on our boat. I want to spend as much time as I can there. It's a passion. It's an obsession of mine. And, so I feel very lucky to get to do what I do. And I have a lot of gratitude for being able to be in service of others as I stand in the service of my dreams as well.
Outstanding. You have had a background that's been varied. You've been an actor. You've worked in a corporate environment, but you made a decision to break out on your own. So tell us about that decision and tell us what led you to write the first edition of your book.
Sure. So when I was an actor, I had a modicum of success, which means I had a little bit of success. I was what you'd call a working actor.
Right.
So I would show up in small roles or guest roles, starring roles on most of the TV shows you'd see in the 90s. And I did a lot of voiceovers, AT&T, Braun, Pizza Hut. That was my bread and butter.
Uh-huh.
But, the lifestyle wasn't for me. You had to go in and ask other people to give you work.
Right.
Now, of course, these days it's easier, more opportunities for folks who are creative artists to produce their own work.
Uh-huh.
But nonetheless, I was an entrepreneur at heart. So I talked my way into a job in the fitness industry on the business side for a job I was completely unqualified for. But because I was unqualified, I actually did a really good job because I didn't know how they did things in the past.
There you go.
So I came in with a blank piece of paper, beginner's mind, and I reorganized the way a lot of the work was done. And it turned out well, and I was fortunate to have some success there. But ultimately, I just knew I needed to build something on my own, and I needed to do it in such a way that it was a service-driven business.
Okay.
And that was very, very important to me because I come from a family of therapists, and I think that the world in which I grew up and the world in which I love to exist is one where we're helping other people become very, very connected, deeply connected to what they stand for and their purpose. And I take great joy and pleasure in being able to do that.
Okay. And that's the first time I've heard that you've come from a family of therapists too. So,
Yeah.
so you come to us completely cured. Is that correct?
Or the complete opposite. One or the other. Not so sure. We'll let you be the judge of that.
Well, I remember reading the book, and this is the second edition of the book, that you decided to leave a corporate job, go off on your own, and basically put yourself out to hire as a consultant. And you did what so many people who break out of their own do, and that is kind of sit home and wait for that phone to ring. But it didn't happen.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I sat home completely and did nothing. I did a little bit, but not enough to really make a difference. And I started focusing on brand development for the fitness industry because I had experience there and I had connections there and I had credibility there.
Right.
But I really did just think clients were going to fall into my lap. I thought, well, I'm really good at what I do. I know people. It should just be like that.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, it didn't really matter that I knew some of these people. They didn't know what I knew.
Right.
And it's very important. There's that expression, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters who you know.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But for me, I'm much more interested in the idea that it matters who you know, but it matters more that they know what you can do for them. And so marketing, what I realized, was not going to get clients for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's interesting. I was doing some marketing. And the mistake I think many people make, and I think a lot of marketing educators perpetuate this myth, is that marketing gets you clients. I do not think it does. I think it just creates awareness.
Okay.
That's it. So, if I do something like this and somebody watches it who's never seen me, it's just awareness. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get their business.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people make the mistake of conflating sales and marketing. And so I got really clear on this distinction between the two. And I got really clear on well, I need to do a certain number of marketing activities really well, really consistently to create enough awareness to bring people to me so that I can demonstrate my relevance to them. I can earn their trust over time. And then, and this is what's important, that I can make sales offers that were proportionate to the amount of trust that I've earned.
Okay.
Because when you conflate marketing and sales, you often try to sell too quickly. And you're often trying to sell more than you have the permission to sell. So you don't have enough trust. You ever been to one of those conferences where the speaker goes up on stage and they have 45 minutes and the whole thing is designed to pitch you some big expensive thing that they're selling in the back of the room? Okay. Right. Well, one of the reasons that a lot of people feel kind of icky when they're in the audience is because they don't trust that speaker yet. Maybe they just had exposure to them.
Right.
So if I'm giving a speech, I feel comfortable after 45 minutes saying, hey, go buy a copy, book yourself solid. Right? It's going to do this, this, and this for you. If you enjoyed what we did here today, you're going to enjoy that. But I'm not about to go and try to sell mentoring programs, coach certification programs, things like that, because I haven't earned that right yet. And so when I made that distinction and I was able to get very clear about what was marketing, what did I need to do, what were my goals, how was I going to achieve them, and then it allowed me to create a very clear and specific sales cycle process so that once people became aware of me, they would then go through this sales cycle process in a way that allowed them to feel in control, that they could make choices, and that they could raise their hand and say, I'd like to buy from you now because this offer is relevant to me and the situation that I'm in.
So in the case you're talking about too, I mean, you're talking about selling yourself. I mean, that's the title of the book, book yourself. So when you're selling yourself, I mean, and it comes to marketing, it's very, very difficult for people to find themselves as a product, find themselves as a brand, and move that in the direction of being able to sell that. So talk a bit about how the book helps people, identify their own brand, identify what it is they're actually selling in the marketplace, because I'm assuming you wrote this book for a varied audience, correct?
Yeah. So for service professionals of all kinds. Right. So that includes the financial planner, the accountant, the doctor, the acupuncturist, the chiropractor, the artist, the photographer, etc. In Book Yourself Solid, the first module is called the Foundation. Okay. And there are 4 building blocks in the foundation. And the first is your red velvet rope policy. So you work only with people that are ideal for you. They inspire you, they energize you, and really most importantly, they allow you to do your best work.
So are you saying in that part that you're really looking for the customers that are going to give you the best return, the customers that are going to align with what your mission is for what you want to do in your business?
Yeah, and when you say best return, most people are going to think, oh, from a financial perspective.
Oh, right.
However, I think anybody that's had an experience working with a dud client, somebody that drained their energy, that made them feel like their work wasn't worthwhile, or maybe they wanted to do bodily harm to somebody, and and that was even though they had a loving nature, they know that if they have a number of clients that are dud clients, they're not going to want to go out and get more clients.
Sure.
So we have to clear that space out so that we know from a personality perspective, from a values perspective, from an integrity perspective, the people that we are working with are people of our choosing. You don't go into business yourself to work with people you do not want to work with. It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
You chose to work for yourself. You should choose the people you work with.
Sure.
Now, I know that takes confidence. Yep. And maybe your red velvet rope is a little looser at the beginning of the business, and it tightens up, as you get more successful. But that's always where we start. We choose who we work with. Now, then the second building block of the foundation allows us to focus on understanding why people buy what we're selling. So you choose a target market, which is different than your ideal client. Your ideal client is a small subset of that target market. Okay. Target market is the demographic that you serve. Now, if you have a target market, then you know what they need and what they desire. You then can get very clear about the big result you help them get. And then, of course, you'll know what the benefits of that result are from a financial, from an emotional, from a physical, and from a spiritual perspective. And those are the return on investment. Financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Now, spiritual people, use in lots of different ways. For me, it's
Sure.
connection to purpose. Why you're doing this work. You have a deep calling to do this work, where you're going to feel connected to it. To me, that's a very spiritual pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the second building block. The third building block is to develop a personal brand identity. So you decide how you're known in the world. You don't let other people do it for you. You decide. And then you make sure that that message is in all of your marketing. It's in all of your interactions.
So let me stop you there for a second. I mean, that the personal brand piece is extremely difficult, and I love what you've done with the book, because you've given this in the illustrated version, especially, you've given the student some homework. And I also love something else you did with the book about that. For people like me that don't like to write in the book, you've even made pages downloadable so you can do your work outside of the actual book itself. But the bottom line is, in personal brand, which it is really hard to decide what your personal brand is, you've given people the exercises to do that in the book.
Sure. Well, the whole book is filled with exercises.
Right.
Every chapter has about 10 different exercises, so that you're actually working on your business, not just reading something or even seeing something now that it's illustrated as an idea.
Right.
Right. So it's not just information. It's a practical application of that information. So it's really a full coaching course. In fact, as you mentioned, you can download the PDF of all of the exercises in the book, but you can also get an app, a mobile app.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Yeah. That has all of the exercises, and you can actually do it on your computer or on any device, and it'll save all of the information. So it'll help you walk through it and know exactly where you are in the process.
Well, that's perfect.
If you go to bookyourselfsolidillustrated.com, it's bookyourselfsolidillustrated.com, you can see how you can get that app now complimentary. At the end of this month, the price goes to $49, which is what it's going to sell for regularly. Okay. But right now, with the release of the book, we're giving it away for free.
That's great. So people ought to act on that pretty quickly.
Yeah. So look, you take the brand identity, for example. There are 3 components to your personal brand identity. Now, this is applicable if you work for yourself, and this is applicable if you work for inside an organization. Every single person, no matter what kind of work they do, should develop a personal brand identity. So they're known in their organization, in their industry, in their community for something big, something special, something meaningful. And the first component of the personal brand identity is always this. People look at you and they say, who do they serve and what do they help them do? Meaning, do they help me get what I want? And if the answer is no, they go away. If the answer is yes, then they look further. Because it's not enough yet to hire you, because there are a lot of people that will help them get what they want. The next question is why you do it. Why do you get up every day to do this work? What do you stand for? And do I connect with that emotionally, philosophically? And if the answer is yes, then you're the one. Then you're the one. And now, of course, the third component, you can create a tagline based on why you do it. It's a great way, fun way, playful way to get that message out in the world. But it's not even necessary.
But I bet you have a tagline, though, don't you, Michael?
I do. It's the guy to call when you're tired of thinking small.
Yeah, I love it.
The thing. I don't go up and introduce myself to people. Hi, I'm the guy to call when you're tired of thinking small, because that'd be ridiculous. But that message is woven into all of my work. Everything that I do is around thinking big. So if you want to think bigger about who you are and what you offer the world, you go, that's the guy for me. I connect with him.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important. And I don't see a lot of people spending time thinking about this, how they want to be known.
Right.
But I think it's critically important, especially for leadership.
Sure.
Because, if you want people to quote unquote follow you, they have to know why you do what you do.
Right.
And if they don't connect with that, they're not going to. If they do connect with it, they go, I connect with what this person stands for. That's a leader that I want to be around.
No doubt. Yeah.
And so that component is essential. And if you are a business owner, a service professional, even a one-person business owner, you're a leader.
Right.
Absolutely. And you got to lead yourself too. So what this does for you is it creates accountability. And I'll tell you why. Because if you choose how you want to be known, you're going to choose something meaningful. So for example, the reason I do this is because I want to help you think bigger about who you are and what you offer the world. That's big.
Yeah.
Meaning I can't show up and be petty. I can't show up and be small. I have to show up big. I have to show up with abundance. I have to show up that way. So it creates an accountability structure for me as well. All my clients know that our work is around playing big. They can't show up and be like, I'm just going to do a little bit of this. Doesn't work. It doesn't happen in our world.
I don't see anybody doing that with you, Michael. Your energy
Well,
comes
they've
through.
tried.
Yeah.
They've tried. But that's exactly right. That's my point. It gives you this opportunity to create a structure of accountability for yourself around something that will move you forward, that will be progressive for you in your leadership development, personal development, professional development.
Okay. So you've got the personal branding down. What is the next piece of this?
So the fourth building block is being able to talk about what you do without sounding confusing or bland or like everybody else.
Right.
But without using an elevator speech.
Without using an elevator speech.
Yes.
Everybody else is telling us to use an elevator speech.
I know they are.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. The elevator speech is absolutely appropriate in certain circumstances. If I'm starting a software company, I've got this idea that I want to raise money from
Right.
venture capitalists, and I see a venture capitalist in an elevator, and I've got 30 seconds or 15 seconds to pitch in this idea. I need an elevator speech that's going to get the idea across. That's going to get him to say, yeah, I'll give you another 15 minutes in my office. Call this number. Makes sense.
Right.
But if you're a service professional, and those are the people that I serve for the most part, service professionals, the financial planners, the accountants, the attorneys, the chiropractors, the acupuncturists, the photographer, the consultant, the coach, the artist.
Okay.
That's not necessarily how a relationship develops between you and a potential client, or even you and a potential referral partner. For example, I go give a speech. Let's say there's 2,000 people in the audience. I'll say, let me ask you a question. Let's take a little poll. Raise your hand if you absolutely just love giving your elevator speech. How many hands do you think go up?
Probably very few.
Very few. Usually it's like a couple guys like, yo, dude, me. Right. And so then I say, okay, fine. So we basically see almost nobody in the room wants to give it. All right. So let's see if anybody wants to listen to it. No hands go up.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
So then I say, hey, guys, remember how you love giving it? Nobody actually wants to hear it. And so it's interesting to me that we still focus on this idea of sort of pitching yourself with hyperbole and highfalutin language and lots and lots of commas and this long thing, when generally people want to have a conversation with you.
Right.
Now, when you talk about someone says, what do? You might use your professional category. You say, I'm a financial planner, but I help people do this. Then shut up. That's it. All you have to let them know is your target market and the result you provide. That's enough. So it doesn't need to be fancy. It should not sound like you're trying to prove something. It should sound practical and applicable and relevant. That's it.
So you have another tagline: the man that killed the elevator speech.
The man that killed the elevator speech. Yes, because look what happens then. If I say, look, I help people like you get booked up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So how do you do that? Well, now we're in a conversation.
Right.
Yeah. Or they say, you know what? My sister has her own business. She's been struggling for this. And I say, well, is she running into this issue and this issue? Okay. They think about it. I go, yeah, she is. Actually, at Christmas, she was telling me this. Oh, okay. So what she really wants is this. Yes, that's exactly what she wants.
Right. So,
et cetera, et cetera. And now we're in a conversation. And if you understand why people buy what you're selling, which is that second building block in the first module, then you know your target market, you can talk about them. You know what they need and what they desire. You can talk about it. You know the result you help them get. You can talk about it. And of course, you know the benefit of that result or the benefits of that result from a financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual perspective.
right.
If you know those things, you can talk about what you do any which way till Sunday in 3 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 months. It doesn't matter. If you don't really know what you offer and the benefits that you provide based on the result that the person gets,
Right.
You don't have a business.
Respectful of your time, Michael, I want to tap onto one other thing very, very quickly. You have a really ambitious few days coming up. I think it's the week of May 20th. If you could talk for a second about what you're doing on creativelive.com and the opportunity you're giving with Book Yourself Solid.
Sure, thank you. So I'm doing a live 3-day workshop with creativelive.com. And the beautiful thing is you can attend for free over the internet. The entire thing is streamed live. And the production value is extraordinary. There isn't a tiny lag in audio. It is clear. It literally looks like you're watching TV. And the whole thing is free. You can watch it for free. If you want to get all the recordings, there's a fee to do that. But if you just want to watch it, you can, and you can ask questions, and there are moderators taking the questions. So the production value is really amazing, and I'm really excited for this. So it's May 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and you can tune in for as little or as much of it as you want.
Right.
And you can learn more at creativelive.com. And sure, if you just, I don't know if it's on their homepage or not. Probably is. If not, you just put in Michael Port or Book Yourself Solid, and you'll find it there.
Yeah, our production crew looked it up last night. It was very easy to find, and but we'll put a URL as well on the website for folks to find that. And you mentioned too, there's a fee. I mean, I'm shocked at how small the fee is for kind of an evergreen access to the video. It's only $99, whether that's a limited time or not. But that's just incredible. You're doing some great stuff, Michael. It's so timely for me personally, but you are doing some great things for people who are out there in what we call probably this new economy. I discovered your book years ago, the first version, the hardcover version. It was tremendously valuable then. You've updated it. In fact, I listened to it on audible.com first, and I remember driving my lawn tractor going, hey, this is new stuff. So
cool.
you remain very, very relevant with all of your material. But this illustrated book, again, I'm going to hold it up. It is a whopper. I FedExed it to a couple of friends down in Nashville the other day, and I'm not even going to tell you what FedEx charged to send this thing overnight. It's a 5 pound some odd. Have you measured it yet, Michael?
I think it's like a 3 point something pounds.
Yeah, maybe it's 3. That's right. There was 3.3 or something like that.
If you have Amazon Prime, they'll ship it to you for free.
Yeah, well, if you have Al Prime, he ships it to his friends
there you go, exactly.
for more than the value of the books. I'll tell you that right now. But that just tells you the value. It's a great book. You tell us just very briefly about your partner that illustrated the book, if you would.
Sure. Jocelyn Wallace did all the illustrations in the book. She's an extraordinary visual strategist. So not just an illustrator, she was able to take my material and help improve it by strategizing through illustration. So now, I have text to support the illustrations, of course, but you can now look at an illustration and get an entire concept without reading 20 pages.
Right.
I mean, I'm so thrilled because not everybody loves to read. I mean, we're not reading, Book Yourself Solid is not the great American novel. You're not reading it for this, to escape to this other world of the Great Gatsby or whatever. You're reading because you want the information, you want it fast, you want to be able to do something with it, and you want the inspiration that comes along with it. So this just speeds up the entire learning process. You're going to recall so much more of what I am revealing to you because you're able to see the images in your head after you put the book down rather than just lots and lots of words. And so every study shows that you will recall more when you see images that represent what you're reading. So we wanted to make it even more accessible for people who need to get books out.
Well, you talked about being relevant. I mean, that's what you've done. You've kept pace with where the world is heading. The illustrated version of the book is just fantastic. I encourage people, go get the full form book as well. There's some great knowledge in that. It's still available on Amazon and other major booksellers, right, Michael?
Of course, sure, yeah.
It is, yeah. And then now you've also told us there's an app and there's an opportunity to learn on Creative Live with Michael coming up very, very soon. So we urge you to check that out. Michael, I want to thank you for being our very first guest. So we don't have really anything to send you, but we'll come up with something maybe.
The opportunity to allow me to share here is more than I could hope for. So thank you so much. And your program looks fantastic.
Well, thanks.
Production values look extraordinary. And of course, it looks like we coordinated our lavender shirt and tie.
I gotta tell you, real men wear lavender. That's
well,
a big reason.
actually, someone told me about a study that said that men who wear pink make more money than others. I don't know if it's true or not, but
I am a lucky guy. My wife loves me in pink, so I'm going to go with that and say it's true. Absolutely, absolutely true. Well, Michael, again, it's been an absolute pleasure. Folks, just as we wrap up too, Michael has workshops available. He does have a coaching program as well. Check out his website, michaelport.com, as well as the website for the book, which we'll put on the website for that, the website for your software program, Creative Live. You have a lot of websites, Michael.
I know.
But that's
keep
good.
GoDaddy in business.
You certainly do. Absolutely. Glad to hear that. Well, Michael, all the best to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take care.